newcomers is you need to understand the danger that a hurricane brings, and you have to have a plan on what you're going to do if it happens, because the time to plan is now. The time to plan is not when it's coming, because it is too late. And that planning involves knowing where you are. We call it a zone. We have the zones for the whole coastline. As you can see, this is the hurricane guide. You can get it at Walgreens. You can get it at all the emergency places. But the different colors represent the differences in risk. And the red, of course, that's a higher risk, and as you get farther back, it lessens. But this has been prepared and re-prepared and refined over the years by the Emergency Management Division, and you'll hear from Kim Stinson in a moment. So you can find where you are here, where you live, or where you're going to be vacationing, or where you are vacationing. And when they say something about Zone A, Zone B, Zone C, you'll know exactly what that means when they tell you that. But as I say, those zones have been refined over the years to where if we have to order an evacuation, we'll know exactly what needs to be evacuated. We won't do anything unnecessary. But I would urge you a number of things. Is one, prepare in advance. That is, have your prescription medications, if you have any. Have your will, your insurance papers, any valuables, jewelry, diaries, pictures, photo albums, anything like that you just don't want to give up and never see again. Have them with you to where you can take them, or either put them someplace in storage where they won't be affected. Because these hurricanes will knock houses to the ground. We've seen them in hurricanes where you couldn't find the house, didn't know where it went. And that happens regularly. So know your zone, be prepared. Also, be sure that your children or your parents know where you are. Don't take any advice or direction from social media. Repeat, don't take information from social media. Someone will suggest you take this road or that road. Half of the times they're wrong. We've had disasters happen because of that. But you see, we've got this equipment. Every county has an emergency management office, some more, and the emergency management division in Columbia as well. And we know each other. We worked together for years. We got the finest equipment, the best information, and if you wanted to hide from it, you wouldn't be able to, because it's everywhere. So be smart, be prepared, because we know a hurricane is going to come. Maybe in a month or two, maybe in 3 or 4, maybe not at all. But if we've had some that were just absolute disasters, and we don't want to have people in harm's way again. Colonel.
Thank you, Governor. Good morning, Travis Manley, Lieutenant Colonel with the South Carolina Highway Patrol. I'm here on behalf of Director Robert G. Woods of the Department of Public Safety, let you know what the operating posture is for the agency at this time. In a planning stage, as we move forward, back in January of this year, we started our route reconnaissance with our partners with SCDOT in checking our routes for any signage issues or any roadway changes that we haven't seen in the past year. We moved forward with our region planning meetings, which took place in March, and we were in the southern region, we were in the northern region, and we were in all central regions as well, planning with our state and local authorities on changes in personnel or management of assets. And as we move forward, coming up on our next point will be June the 5th. On June the 5th, we'll have our hurricane full-scale exercise, lane reversal exercise. So just want to note that this is an exercise. Each year we have these questions. There will not be any lanes blocked on any artery. We do ask the public to please be careful when they see assets on the side of the road, along with personnel with state resources for this exercise. It will be on June the 5th, and it will start about 8 o'clock in the morning and go on through about noontime. And after that, June the 6th, we'll join Governor McMaster for the tabletop exercise to evaluate the plan and finalize it. So just in echoing what Governor McMaster said, we asked each and every one of you to please know your zone, know your route, stay on your route, only go by the trusted information. You can find this information online at scdps.gov or through the EMD website. So thank you very much for being here.
Good morning, I'm Justin Powell, Secretary of Transportation for the South Carolina Department of Transportation. The 4,000 men and women of the Department of Transportation stand ready for hurricane season, and like our partners in local government and at the Highway Patrol and the Emergency Management Division, we've been getting ready the past several months. We've been reviewing the 35 evacuation routes in the state to be ready to make sure they're signed, ready to go, checking our cameras, our message boards in case of an evacuation, and with our partners at the Highway Patrol, we will be doing an exercise on June 5th to test the reversal of the I-26 corridor. We're going to be prepared for hurricane season. We encourage residents to be ready for hurricane season, and that means having a plan, knowing your evacuation routes, which way you would go if an evacuation order comes. One handy tool that we encourage residents to take a look at is our 511 SC app. You get that on Google or on Apple. Put it on your smartphone. It's got all of the evacuation routes. It's got access to all the traffic cameras. Real handy tool during an evacuation or even on your normal day-to-day travels. Having a plan is critical. Hurricanes are an unfortunate fact of life of beginning to live in the paradise we call South Carolina, but having a plan will keep your family safe when that time comes. Folks should also know that SCDOT will stand ready after a hurricane to be able to recover and clean up any damage that we've had. So know that not only your partners in local government, state government are ready to respond and respond to any disasters that we have. I'll turn this over to Kim Stenson, Director of Emergency Management for South Carolina.
All right, thank you very much. We're expecting a very active hurricane season this year along the Atlantic and in the Gulf, and of course we're on the Atlantic, so we can almost certainly expect some kind of hurricane activity during hurricane season. In this month, South Carolina is announcing our new hurricane evacuation zones, and that's aimed at improving community preparedness and safety during hurricanes. The evacuation zones have been updated based on the latest data and modeling techniques to improve our public safety posture. No changes have been made to designated routes, evacuation routes, or how evacuation orders are issued, even if your evacuation zone has changed, and the governor will still issue evacuation orders by zone. Vital information regarding evacuation zones is readily available through official sources, such as the 2024 Hurricane Guide, which the governor just showed you, and it's also accessible online at hurricane.sc, which is a dedicated, basically online hurricane guide location on the web, and then also at our website at scemd.org. Printed copies are also available at all Walgreens stores, welcome centers along the interstate, and DMV coastal offices. Will also be distributed in the print media and newspapers from the coast back to the Midlands this month. And you can quickly find your zone by going to a couple of different places, but you can start with the South Carolina Emergency Manager app that you can download, and you can pull up your zone. And it's an interactive map that will allow you to plug in your address and then tell you what zone that you're in. And it's also available on our website as well. And we certainly, before we get into hurricane season, which is going to occur pretty soon, certainly encourage everybody to get planned now for this hurricane season while you still have time to do it. And then certainly that means taking a moment to assess your situation and then finalize those long-term preparations that everybody else has already talked about. But boiled down, we're asking coastal residents to do three things. One is know your zone. Nothing new there, but know your zone. Prepare your home, and then remember your route. So those three items. And then I'll close with this, is that certainly there may end up being a coastal evacuation in South Carolina this year, but that does not mean that the effects of a hurricane are strictly limited to the coast. We can very easily see hurricane force winds and extreme amounts of rain throughout the state during one of those events. So this is not just for coastal residents, this is for the entire state. Be ready, and we've got a number of tools that you can help you get ready. So thank you.
Good morning. I'm Joe Boykin with Charleston County Council. Happy to be here today to support the governor and the state EMD staff. I want the citizens of Charleston County to know that your county government is working very hard and diligently as we prepare for what may be a very busy hurricane season. I'd ask you to heed all the advice that you've heard here today from the governor and the state staff. Pay attention, follow their advice and guidelines, and be prepared. Our county staff has got an outstanding emergency management division. We've got a fantastic state-of-the-art emergency operations center. Our public works are all working to be prepared to respond in the event of a storm. And that, I want to thank the governor for coming down here today and looking out for the Lowcountry. And I also want to thank the brave men and women of the NOAA Corps who fly these hurricane hunters into these storms to get absolutely critical information to aid in our protection. Thank you.
Thank you. On to any questions? Last time the zones were updated. You may as well just stay up there.
All right, sir. This level of zone adjustment has not taken place for about 10 years, but periodically we have local authorities that want to adjust their zones, and we've done that. But this is the first big one in at least 10 years.
And how many miles were taken out of the old zone? 256?
Yeah, with the new zones, we've actually shrunk the entire evacuation area by about 250 square miles. But main thing that we want to do is we want to ensure that people are out of harm's way, that we're not putting them at risk, but at the same time we want to make sure that we don't evacuate people that don't need to be evacuated. That's very critical as well.
Questions?
As far as the evacuation routes are concerned, obviously there's a lot of construction going on throughout the highways in South Carolina. Can you kind of tell me how that factors in?
Certainly. So I-26, obviously, we have committed to making 6 lanes at least between Columbia and Charleston, and thanks to a lot of leadership by Governor McMaster and the General Assembly to make that happen. One of the main reasons why we're driving that, obviously, is the significant growth that we've seen in the lower half of the state. But at the same time, we recognize that it takes a tremendous amount of effort and energy to reverse those lanes. It takes over 400 DOT personnel to do it. So we're adding that lane capacity so that we're able to move that volume of traffic out of the Charleston area and the surrounding areas as quickly as possible. During the construction process, however, we stay very active and coordinated with our contractors to make sure that they will demobilize when needed when an evacuation order happens, and we'll go from there. We have updated the I-26 evacuation route. It was updated after Hurricane Dorian in 2019. Really starts it a little further north up I-26 right by the Nexton Parkway. All that information can be found on SCDOT's website under the travel tab. Thank you.
Governor, first off, thank you for being here today. A lot of people, when they hear hurricane, they only think about wind. Can you talk about the power of water? We cover Hilton Head, Beaufort areas, such low-lying areas susceptible to storm surge flooding, whether it's storm surge or flooding rain. Can you talk more about the importance of being ready for that?
Okay, well, it's all connected and all very important, both the surge and the wind. And a good location to find all that information is on our hurricane guide, and it shows you what that looks like in terms of the category of storm and both surge and the potential for wind as well. So general rule that we have is that you run from the water and hide from the wind. Batten down the hatches, but that is certainly a key piece of that. But the main things that we're concerned about initially certainly is the surge. That's very life-threatening, and that's why we evacuate for the surge as opposed to the wind.
More questions?